They will love you more when you change this one thing sublime. You don't need to try hard to be loved. Have you ever loved someone and silently wished they would give you more than just a text, a hug, or some occasional attention? You once believed, if I'm genuine, if I stay true to myself, if I don't force anything, then I will be loved the right way. You thought, as long as I love sincerely, with no expectations, no calculations, then love will naturally find its way. If I learn to be gentle, caring, and keep the peace, then they will value me and stay. But then reality hits you. You don't ask for much, yet they still seem indifferent. You give so much, but receive so little. You try to be the kind, understanding one who never complains. Yet the more you do that, the more invisible you feel. And then, questions start swirling in your mind. Am I not interesting enough? Should I pull back to make them value me more? What do I need to do for them to love me more deeply? Here's the part most people miss. You don't need to do anything to be loved more, but you do need to reflect. When you're in a relationship, what kind of value are you actually bringing to that person? Love doesn't last just because you're kind. It lasts because you offer something truly worth keeping. And if you love only in hopes of receiving, you'll attract someone who also only knows how to love to receive. But if you love from a place of fullness, wanting to give the best of yourself, you'll naturally call in someone who wants to offer the best of themselves to you. Welcome to the Love Equations, where you don't learn how to be loved more, but how to love in the right way, with wholeness and intention. Hit subscribe to this channel so each week you'll be nourished by light, self-awareness, and love that begins within you. Part 1. The kind of love that leaves you feeling empty and unseen. There's a kind of love that seems deep, but slowly makes you lose sight of your own worth. You love deeply, yet feel yourself shrinking within the relationship. You give so much, but your heart still feels empty, waiting, and quietly aching. You don't say it out loud, but deep down the questions linger. Am I being taken for granted? Do they really need me? Or have they just gotten used to me being here? You're not loving from a place of wholeness. You're loving because you want to be loved back. You're the one who texts first, shows care first, initiates everything. Not because it feels natural, but because you hope that if you're good enough, they'll eventually reciprocate. But in reality, that quiet expectation often leads to quiet disappointment. You sacrifice your truth to keep the peace. You know you're hurting. You can feel your sadness clearly, but still you smile and say, "It's okay. I'm fine." Do whatever you want. You compromise. You go silent. You keep giving. But inside, there's a child slowly being abandoned by the very adult within. You're doing everything just to make them stay. You clean. You care. You support. You message. You connect. You take the lead in everything. And you tell yourself, if I give enough, they'll stay. If I make sure they lack nothing, they won't leave. But have you noticed? The more you do, the further they seem to drift. Because you're no longer being you. You've become someone who serves, not someone they walk beside as an equal partner. Love isn't about trying harder just to keep someone. True love is when your presence is deep, bright, and full of value. So much so that they choose to stay, without you having to chase or shrink yourself to be loved. Love is not about trying to hold someone back, because if you have to try so hard to keep them, one day you'll grow tired. And if they stay, it will be because of your effort, not because they truly want to be there. True love is when your presence alone is enough, deep enough to make them feel safe, bright enough to help them see themselves more clearly beside you, and valuable enough that they no longer feel the need to seek someone else, because within you, they found something the outside world could never offer them: truth and peace. It's not fear that keeps them close. It's the frequency you radiate, something unexplainable that makes it impossible for them to walk away. Part 2. Create value instead of just hoping to be loved. Most of us, when we're in love, have experienced this one particular moment. What should I do to make them love me more? Should I text first or wait? Should I show I care or pretend to be distant? Am I pretty enough, smart enough, interesting enough? All these questions come from one thing: the desire to be loved. The need to be loved often makes you lose yourself. You start adjusting who you are to fit their expectations. You compromise on things you don't truly want. You try to become a version of yourself you think they'll like more. You believe you're doing something good for the relationship, but in reality, you're dimming your own unique light. You're no longer the one who brings something into the relationship. You become someone who's just seeking something in return, just to feel like you're enough. True love doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from the real value you create through your presence and inner wholeness. You may not be great with words, but when they're around you, they feel at peace. You may not stand out in a crowd, but when they need someone to truly listen, you're the one who doesn't judge. You may not know how to keep someone, but you know how to keep your heart clear without falling into control or self-blame. And it's exactly those quiet, unseen qualities that become the kind of real value they never want to lose. A transformational question: if you're in a relationship right now, try asking yourself, am I loving because I have something beautiful to give? Or am I loving because I need someone to prove I'm worthy? When you love out of a need to be loved, you'll attract those who only want to take. But when you love because you genuinely want to share the best of yourself, you'll meet those who live from the same kind of heart. Part 3. Becoming a person of true value in love. No pretending, no overgiving, no losing yourself. There is a quiet truth, yet incredibly powerful. You don't need to become someone special to be loved, but you do need to be clear, radiant, and grounded so that the other person knows they are loving someone of true worth. So what does it mean to be a person of value in love? It's not about being perfect, and it's not about pleasing your partner at all costs. It's about living with intention, having inner strength, setting healthy boundaries, and truly loving yourself. You are a person of value when you know who you are, and don't lose that just to make someone stay. Understand the boundaries of love and recognize when to pause or walk away. Do what you love, live with purpose. So when you enter a relationship, you bring a vibrant, fulfilling life with you. Respect your partner, but don't need their validation to feel whole. Don't control, but don't abandon either. Listen deeply, but also know how to speak up for yourself. A short story. There was once a girl who believed that doing everything for her partner was the best way to show love. She always asked, "What do you want to eat? How do you like me to dress? Do you think I'm doing okay?" But the more she gave, the more distant he became, until one day she stopped, not out of pain, but because she realized, if I don't feel enough within myself, then no amount of reassurance from him will ever be enough. And from that moment on, she chose to come home to herself. She did what she loved. She spoke what she truly felt. And instead of asking, "What does he want?" she asked, "Am I living in alignment with who I really am?" Just a few weeks later, he came back and said something she would never forget. "I don't know why, but lately there's something incredibly magnetic about you." Because when you stop trying to be loved and start living in alignment with your own energy, love naturally finds its way back. Not because you tried to hold on, but because no one wants to lose what's already shining so brightly. Part 4. The way you see love will shape how you live in love. Every person brings a lens into love, an inner definition of what love means. And that lens determines what you notice, what you expect, and how you show up in a relationship. If you believe love means being loved back, you'll always be waiting. Waiting for messages, waiting for attention, waiting for them to reciprocate the kindness you've given. And when that doesn't happen, you'll feel disappointed, unworthy, and begin to blame, even if it's only in silence. If you believe love means keeping them from leaving, you'll constantly live in a state of fear of losing them, anxiety, closely watching every little sign from them. You'll be trapped in a constant sense of unease, always feeling like you need to do something to avoid being abandoned. But if you begin to see love as a space for growth, your entire way of being in a relationship will transform. You don't love to be repaid. You love to become a better version of yourself each day, whether they stay by your side or not. You don't love to hold on. You love to grow together, if they're also willing. And if they're not, you know how to stay with yourself, peacefully. You see, it may be the same loving gesture, but someone who loves to be loved back will see it as a sacrifice, while someone who loves to grow together will see it as a chance to understand themselves more deeply. The way you view love will determine whether you feel fulfilled or exhausted, whether you become a better version of yourself, or lose who you are. If you want to be loved deeply and meaningfully, start by redefining what love truly means to you. Because from that clarity, you'll begin to love on a completely different frequency, lighter, deeper, and more peaceful. Part 5, a story of transformation. When you shift your mindset, they begin to shift too. She used to be the kind of woman who gave her all in love, always the first to text, always asking what he wanted, what he liked, what he needed. She believed love meant giving everything, leaving nothing for herself. She didn't feel tired until the day she started to feel invisible. He started becoming distant, less caring, forgetting the little things she tried so hard to nurture. She didn't understand why. She wondered, am I still not enough? So she tried even harder, softer, more accommodating, more giving. But one day, as she stood quietly in the kitchen, preparing the usual dinner, and he didn't even look up from his phone, a question touched her heart like a silent beam of light. Am I truly loving him, or am I just trying to prove that I deserve his love? From that moment, she stopped trying. There was no dramatic breakup, no arguments, just a gentle, but very clear shift in awareness. If I have to lose parts of myself to be loved, then that's not the kind of love I want. She didn't become cold. She didn't disappear. She simply returned to herself. She returned to the things she once loved, drawing, reading, sitting quietly in a little cafe. She stopped asking, what does he need? And began asking, what do I need today to feel truly alive? Each day she wrote down 3 things, not things he did for her, but what she did for herself. A few weeks later, he started to change. No more long silences. No more seen, no reply. Instead, one night near midnight, a message appeared. Do you still go walking at that park we used to talk about? Another day, she posted a picture of the book she was reading. He left a short comment. Strange. Your reading taste feels deeper lately. Then one day they met again through a group of mutual friends. His eyes lingered a little longer. His questions were a little more thoughtful. What have you been busy with? You're not online much these days. You seem different, but in a way that makes someone want to get to know you all over again. It wasn't because she was playing games or using the silent strategy. It was because she had truly returned to herself, no longer performing, no longer pretending. And the miracle? He began to feel the shift in her energy. Part 7, a closing light. Deep love is the reward of inner growth. Deep love isn't reserved for those who try to become someone else to be loved. It's for those who dare to return to their true selves, but the version of themselves that has matured and grown. This person doesn't have to be perfect, only aware enough to know, I didn't come here to demand someone love me the right way. I came to live from the love I give myself every single day. Deep love is a reward for those who plant small, intentional acts each day, not to keep someone else, but to stay rooted in who they truly are. It doesn't arise from a desperate attempt to hold on, but from the gentle clarity of someone who understands, I am here not to be loved, but to love with wisdom and grace. And when you live this way, the right person will not be able to stay away. And if it's not them, someone better, more emotionally mature, and aligned with your frequency will arrive, quietly and beautifully like a gift. If you're walking this path, this journey of returning to yourself in love, I want to tell you one thing. You're on the right path, and the love you long for is already making its way toward you. Follow the love equations to be nourished each week by words that heal, stories that feel real, and insights that help you love more deeply. Because true love doesn't come from where you go chasing it. It comes from the place where you dare to live fully as who you are.